Well, who knew? Who knew that somebody as short as Peepers could have a date himself? Well, no one really expected it, especially Lord Hater himself, obviously. But here he is, sitting in a restaurant with a suit and a red bow tie. But to seem more formal and fancy. After all, he wanted to impress his date. All sorts of thought was running through his mind. The worst case is that she dump him on the spot, or just stood him up. But at least Lord Hater doesn't find out he have been leaving the ship for a while. He was still thinking until a voice interrupted his thought. "Hey, Peepers, right?" He looked up and find her in formal clothes, like him, as she stared at him. He was amazed by her beauty, but managed to spin out an answer. "Yeah, that's me. He laughed nervously, hoping she didn't question his red face. Tweety6 approached closer, her yellow feathered body and her wide purple sparkly outfit wearing appearance, showing off a purplish flowerish butterfly on top her head, orange legs showing her purple pink heels covering her orange canary feet, her beak clean fresh with lipstick, her sky bluish violet pupilled eyes twinkled as her 6 eyelashes twirled from her eyes, blinking as she looks up at him and twirls for her entrance. Slightly a butterfly ballerina moving gesture. A slightly butterfly ballerina moved gesture, giving herself off a romantic vibe, her tone sweet as she sighs awkwardly. "Well, I hope I'm not too late myself. OMG. I'm a bit nervous though, so what do you think of me? How do I look?" Peepers watched closely as she approached him and twirled, his eye taking in her appearance and follow her every movement, completely dazed, falling head over heels. After she finished her words and performance, he was left speechless. He was mesmerized by her beauty and elegance. It took him a few seconds to process what she just asked. He snapped back from his admiration and managed to answer, You look stunning. Absolutely stunning." He managed to get out, his eyes still glued to her. He was completely stunned by her appearance. "Wow, thanks, really. You're pretty charming tonight as well." "I can tell." Peepers feel his cheeks heat up once again at her compliment. He couldn't believe he was actually on a date with her. He clears his throat before replying. "Thanks, I tried my best. I really wanted to impress you," he said, a hint of shyness evident in his voice. He can't help but stare at how beautiful she was, completely smitten. She was completely smitten by her beauty. Peepers couldn't help but smile, feeling his heart skip a beat at her adorable reaction. He was completely smitten by her. Every little thing she does just made him more and more charming by her. "Shall we sit down now?" he said, motioning to the table with his head still looking at her. He was secretly praying that this date will go well and that he won't screw the things up. Sure, why not? Why not?" Giggles awkwardly, slightly, her expression flattered, smiling softly. Peepers lead her to the table and pulled out a chair for her to sit. It was still feeling a bit nervous, but also excitement at the same time. Allow me," he said, offering the seat to her with a small bow, showing his gentlemanly side. He made sure the seat was comfortable before taking a seat opposite her, his eyes still glued to her, admiring her beauty. I hope you like the place. I tried picking a good one to make the evening special. Special, you know." "Thanks. You're such a gentleman, my sweet sir." Sit down slightly, looking at him slightly, her sky violet pupilled eyes blinking, slightly twinkling as she sits there awkwardly. "Oh, no need. You don't need to put that much effort into it anyway. It's no worries at all. I think it's pretty neat and romantic enough. You really didn't have to. Really, it's not that necessary." Peepers felt his heart flutter at her words, and her compliment, and her adorable awkwardness. He chuckled softly before replying, "Oh, it's no trouble at all. I wanted to make sure this date is perfect," he said sincerely, his eyes still fixed on her. "And trust me, it makes a lot of efforts to impress a woman as beautiful and charming as you," he adds, giving her a small smirk, his confidence slightly rising as he continued to compliment her. You're so funny, Peepers. It's making my feathers shake." Peepers can't help but to chuckle at her reaction, finding it adorable and cute. His confidence was growing with every compliment he threw at her, feeling pleased with himself as his words making her flustered. "I'm just being honest. You're too pretty for your own good," he said playfully, his smirk growing into a cheeky grin. He was enjoying this, flirting with her and watching her blushing and shaking. "Aw, shucks, you scallywag," playfully nudged his shoulder awkwardly. Peepers let out a hearty laugh at her playful nudge, his eye gleaming with mischievous. He couldn't help but tease her. "Scallywag? That's a new one. That's a new one. You sure have a creative way with words," he said, gently nudging her back. He was having so much fun with her. The nervousness he felt all at the start was slowly melting away. "Just admit it. Admit it. You think I'm charming. He said, giving her a sly wink. ain't that obvious unless you're thinking I'm that cheeky from by far my sweet, toony, average, and cute charm. That is, though, huh? Well, looks like who's talking. Look who's talking. Spoilers, you're quite cheeky yourself, cutie pie. Peepers couldn't help but to smirk at her playful banter. He was definitely growing fond of her cheeky personality and the way her banter back at him. Heh, touchy, I suppose. I am quite the charmer myself, he said, fidgeting modestly. He was loving the playful exchange, feeling more relaxed and comfortable with her. But I don't think you're just cheeky and cute. You're also feisty, confident, and quite beautiful, he said with a wink, his eye trailing down her body. Don't forget toony and quite irresistibly toony, you know that. Peepers chuckled at her words, finding her even more adorable. He leaned in closer to her, his eye locking onto hers. Oh, trust me, I definitely didn't forget that, he said, leaning down, his voice lowering to a flirty tone, his eyes still trailing down her body, admiring her toony features. You're one of a kind, and I have to admit, I'm finding it quite hard to resist you. Well, I'm glad a violet-dressed yellow canary toon like me can swoon you over from the moment we met, or should I say since Wander introduced me to you. Peepers couldn't help but feel his heart flutter at her words. He was completely enchanted by her and the way she carried herself. His eye widened as a thought hit him. Wait, you're a friend of Wander? He asked, a mixture of shock and disbelief in his voice. Of all the people he has to fall for, it just had to be one of Wander's friends. He was feeling a bit conflicted, but also intrigued by the consistence. Well, I mean, actually, how it really began, how you first met me. Well, it all started, I was Wander's new friend. I was new around these parts. I was his new friend. Wander's new friend at the times, and he was introducing me, showing me around and such, and when he may have accidentally laid me to the scholarship, optimistically thought you peepers and hater wouldn't mind some company from him or something, and since I was new around for a while, and since Wander thought it'd be cute seeing how you react to me or anything at all, he introduced me to you guys. That's all. Plus, it was a few months ago. Ever since then, you know. That's how I actually laid my gaze on you peepers. Ever since that moment. Sighs awkwardly, looking down sheepishly, adjusting her whitish violet dress slightly, her face sweating, her heart racing. If it's bad to Lord Hater, I'm guessing it didn't feel quite well for you, did it? This is awkward. This is awkward. Peepers listened intently as she explained the situation, his eye narrowing as he processed the information, process the information she gave him. That she gave him. A mixture of disbelief and surprise was present on his face. So, let me get this straight. Wander accidentally lead you into the ship, thinking that we wouldn't mind some company, and he introducing you to us? Because he think it'll be cute when he sees how I react to you? Is that about right? He asked, his voice laced with disbelief and a slight irritation. Yeah, but that was months ago. Remember? I started being interested in you ever since. I couldn't usually stop thinking about you at times. I'm buds with any kind of toons, and mostly at least most people, especially Wander and Sylvia, and you too. Trust me. Trust me, I kinda really like you more than you'd expect to be the only one crushing over me. Looks down, her tone changed softly as she sighed awkwardly before getting up, dusting off herself, adjusting her purplish pink vibrant flower from on her head, before guiltily about to head off in concern, not wanting to cause any scene. I understand if you want me to leave or anything. I won't bother you if you're disappointed or anything. If you want, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I'll just go in. Peepers watched as she started to make her way to leave, feeling a pain of guilt and regret. He quickly got up from his seat and stepped forward, his hand reaching out to gently grasp her wrist, stopping her from leaving. Wait, don't leave, he said, his voice soft but firm. He was feeling conflicted, but he couldn't let her leave like this. He turned to her around to face him, his eyes staring into hers intently. I don't want you to go. He took a deep breath. He took a step closer to her, his hand still holding onto her wrist gently. Please sit back down. I want to talk to you, he said, his voice gentle but serious. He was trying to process everything he just learned, but he also didn't want her to leave just yet. He was feeling a complex mix of emotions at the moment. Annoyance at Wander, confusion about his feelings for her, his feelings for Tweety6, and a strange sense of attraction towards her. Okay. Alright. He led her back to her seat, his hand slowly letting go of her wrist, but his eye remained fixed on her. Once she was seated, he took a moment to gather his thoughts before speaking. I'll be honest with you. I was feeling a bit surprised and annoyed when you said that Wander was the one who basically paired us together. He paused for a moment, looking away briefly before looking his gaze back onto her again. I mean, I was clearly new around here, and when I first met you, it was interesting and crazy at the same time. Unexpected for me is all. He chuckled at her words, his annoyance starting to fade a bit at her adorableness. I suppose I can understand that. It must have been quite a surprise for you to be thrown into this situation all of a sudden. He leaned back in his seat, eyeing her intently. I have to admit, though, despite the circulations, I'm still glad Wander introduced us. I'm glad he introduced us. I never thought I'd say that. Never thought I'd say this, but I'm still glad Wander introduced us. Yeah, and the fact it started like a while ago. Peepers nods in agreement, a small smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Yeah, it was a while ago, but to be honest, I think I started noticing you the moment Wander brought you on the ship. The moment Wander had brought you on the ship. The moment Wander brought you on the ship. Wow. He paused for a moment, his eyes roaming over her form, taking in her toony features. You piqued my interest from the get-go. You still got that memory in you, didn't you? And you're crushing on me secretly deep down? Peepers smirked at her comment, his eye gleaming with a hint of mischief. He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a lower, huskier tone. Oh, I have a very good memory. And yes, I admit, I've been crushing on you secretly for a while now. He said, his eye roaming over her form again, taking in every inch of her. His heart was racing at the admission. He couldn't help but to admire her adorable reaction, his smirk growing wider at the sight. He reached out and gently tugged her hand into his touch gentle yet firm. But it's not just a simple crush. I find you captivating, adorable, and just utterly charming, he confessed, his voice dropping even lower, his eye looking onto hers intensely. He chuckled softly, his heart skipping a beat as he watched her react so cutely. There's something else, you know that? You're just so adorable, he said as he continued to hold her hand, his thumb gently stroking over her skin. He was completely entranced by her, his feelings growing stronger with each passing second. Aw, thanks. You're sweet yourself. Peepers can't help but smile at her words, his heart fluttering at her compliments. He lifted her hand to his mouth and gently pressed a feather-like kiss on it, his eye never leaving hers. You're making me blush, but I have to be honest, I can't get enough of your adorable reactions. You're making it hard for me not to just scoop you in my arms and kiss you sensually right here. Oh, really? That's so charming, fella? Peepers chuckled at her coy response, his eye twinkling with mischief. He leaned even closer, his face now just inches away from hers, his voice dropping to a low whisper. Oh, you have no idea. I'm trying to behave myself here, but your adorableness is making it damn near impossible, he said, his hand gently cupping her chin, his thumb tracing outline of